And their SE is kind of the thing they do to be friendly to everyone. So they will go out of the way to go after you. So that is how that will get them with people, whereas INFJs tend to be too polite. So we won't say, like what's going on with us or whatever. But they will go out of their way to, be friendly. If they're in person, if you're ENFPs are pretty huggy, something that you can perceive, something that you're going to experience. If you're like talking to them and you want to get things going, or they want to get things going to you, then send a picture or send something, a sound file or something. You have to do something that has some kind of central element to it to keep things going, to just kind of keep things oiled. And like I said, with that SE, they'll come after you, and that will be their way of showing their friendliness. And so with an ENFP, you're gonna have to make sure you do that with them sometimes also. Yeah. And let's see. Something kind of funny about ENFPs is, and I've seen this with 3, so maybe it's worth considering, but they will get into numbers. Like, they're really good at just doing math instantly in their head, and they will just get into doing these numbers things. I remember my sister, when her little people would say, well, how much older is your sister than you? And she would go into how many months and how many days and all this stuff. And I'd be like, what in the heck? Why is she even telling them that? Like, they don't even care, But, and then I saw an ENFP on YouTube, and he was talking about his daughter and saying, and she's going to be this age in this many months and this many days and this many. And there's someone that I practice Chinese with, that like he will do this stuff with numbers and everything all the time too. And I was mentioning about how I noticed that and stuff, and he's like, oh, that's our pride and joy. It's like, it's our performance. And then I understood it. I was like, oh, okay. It's kind of like this weird thing, and you're like, what in the world is that about? So yeah. Also, you need to, because they have SI, the people that have SI sometimes can kind of go unnoticed in a way, because SE gives you presence, so they can be kind of sensitive about that. And I've noticed that with INFPs and ENFPs. And so when they're talking, you have to be careful about not interrupting them, especially when an ENFP is talking about some personal feelings. That's pretty difficult for them, because the FE is, in their subconscious, and that kind of enables you to talk about your personal feelings. So you just really need to be quiet, and there'll be definitely an beginning and an end to it, and they'll let you know when it's done. Another funny thing about them is that they, and I've seen this a couple times, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like they'll like to contrast things that are the same and say they're different, or something's different and say it's the same kind of thing. Like this, when I was living in another country, there's this guy who's like in his 70s, he's an ENFP, and so he's like always saying, on the one hand this, but then on the other hand, and then he would say the same thing. And another ENFP is just like, would say that he liked one thing, and then I would say that I liked another thing, and I said, oh, we like the same thing. So it's kind of something funny about him. I'm not sure exactly what it is that causes that, but in the US, and I think that it's probably different in different places, because they have that SI and it's not stable. I know I've had also this problem. Of course, that's my 8th function, and so I'm kind of okay at it, but I think that maybe it's a little more up and down for an ENFP, but that's kind of a personal comfort thing. So I know from having the SI and an unstable thing, I just really, they don't like exercise. So if they don't stay on top of that it can be a challenge for them. And they'll like junk food and that sort of thing pretty easily. Because there are 7, they have 7 characteristics, even if they're not a 7. They really like to be in the middle of whatever is happening and to know about whatever is happening. And in a different kind of way than an INFJ, but in kind of the same way, is the way that we choose words. We choose words the way that we communicate, the word that we choose is not chosen for a precise, one of the precise meanings that the word has, but every word covers a spectrum and it has all these different definitions. So we'll pick a word based on the whole spectrum of what it encompasses. So there can be a whole lot of, excuse me, subliminal messages and stuff going on there. And so INFJs and ENFPs will do the same thing on that. And ENFPs will, are playful and mischievous. And well, I know that I'm got that somewhat from being a 7. I like to bug people. Now it's out. They'll bring a lot of humor to the situation, looking at things from different standpoints and everything from that 7 kind of thing. INFJs and ENFPs, we both like to play with people. I know I personally will have jokes going in my mind all the time about myself and everybody else and everything, all the time. I try to behave and keep it to myself, but there was this lady the other day that we were talking, and she's only 4'10", and so she can't find anything that fits her, and so she said she found these boots that fit her, and she never can find boots that fit her, and they were pink on top of that. And so anyway, she had this outfit. She's all ready to wear them with this outfit, wear them for the first time and stuff. Her dog tore them apart, tore the heel off, and apparently they were new leather and something. He never tore her shoes apart before, and he or she, I don't know. Anyway, so then when the dog saw that she was unhappy, then the dog got nervous and peed on top of it too and stuff. So anyway, I was just oh. And yet, somehow, you still managed to love your dog. I was if that was a person that did that, you'd probably never speak to him again. She thought it was funny, I accepted it, so I have a different way of thinking also, but yeah, I've got stuff going on. I saw a thing on a forum about an INFJ 7, and they were saying that when they get around people they know, then and a situation they know, then they're basically like a sitcom. And I was oh my gosh, it's I know. But yeah, I didn't know that lady very well, so it was just well, it's pretty mild, I guess I can probably say this, but yeah, I can be pretty INFJ is really irreverent. So yeah, I can be pretty terrible, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of the ENFPs also get into that. So that is about all that comes to me.